The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And there shall be affray, pangs, and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. But the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and the houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry at their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and this sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, continue on in the book of First Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter. All right, and we made it to the let me see. Yeah, we made it to the 3rd chapter. All right, and we're going into, the appointed suffering, because as we awaken, matter of fact, let's start with that. Okay, in the book of Revelation, all right, chapter 10. All right, this is Revelation chapter 10, verse 9. It says, I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Okay, so this little book is the scriptures. Okay, and as we, digest it, the understanding, as we're digesting the understanding of the scriptures, well, it's a bitter sweet, and it's a sweet thing. It's a sweet bitter, should I say, because, we come into the understanding, okay, that we are the chosen people, all these great, men in the Bible, our forefathers. Okay, we got these promises to look forward to, immortality, hell is not real, you know, as men. We understand our nature as men. Okay, is justified in the scriptures, and it's a sweet bitter. So we come into all this sweetness, but then the bitterness settles in as we have to strive for righteousness in the wicked society. You know, then there's an affliction. You see, because we are bound, to righteousness, man, in the wicked world. Okay, to see vexation, prosper. This it can become bitter. To constantly deny yourself, putting out the flesh. These things can become bitter. You know, as we, have put off this world for the world to come. Okay, there's a bitterness, man, and then wickedness is still in rulership. Okay, so things are nowhere near like they should. Okay, and it can create a bitterness. This kingdom is meant to be bitter for a righteous man. Okay, it says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hands, out of the angel's hand, and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Okay, so there's a affliction that's appointed with this truth, because we get the blessing, okay, or this understanding of having faith, okay, of being comforted. All right, but then there's a balance of the affliction that comes with it. Okay, the Lord puts us, through these furnace. All right, and it's refining us. Okay, this reflection is refining us for these eternal blessings, because we finna come into eternal blessings. So going back to First Thessalonians, all right, First Thessalonians 3:1 says, wherefore, when we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left at Athens alone, and sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of the Most High, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Hamashiach, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith. So Timotheus, which eventually he will become, the overseer. Okay, he will become, the head of that church in Ephesus. So Timotheus was already familiar, with, the city of Ephesus and that church, from his ministries and his missions, with Paul. Okay. And he was there to comfort them and establish their faith, because the church of uh Salakia, Salakia. I'm getting it confused. So Timothy was sent to Thessalonica to comfort them because of what they was going through. This is not the church of Ephesus, two different churches, Salaki. I got them confused. But so Timotheus was sent, to comfort, okay, the church of Thessalonica, because they was already they called hell out the gate, because pagan worship was heavy in Thessalonica. Okay. And you had circumcision that rejected Yahushua was heavy in Thessalonica. Okay, remember the Apostle Paul, the disciples, they had to sneak out. It had got so hostile. Okay, but the church of Thessalonica, they lived there. You see, so it was a day for day thing. You know, the city officials was against them. Everyone was against them. They was all they had. But they stood firm. So Timotheus was sent back, as a comfort. Timothy was sent back to comfort them. Okay. So Apostle Paul writes and said that no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed. So Apostle Paul let them know this is the rite of passage. We got to be outcasts. That's why, brothers, you got to embrace being an outcast. Embrace not having everything you want, but the Lord providing everything we need. Embrace that. Embrace living a simple life. Okay? You gotta embrace these things. Embrace, okay, not being appreciated. Okay? Embrace the hatred, this the slander, because it's finna increase. Okay, we're finna be hated on another level. Okay? As this devil, gets ready to push, their propaganda against the prophets, we're gonna be hated on a whole nother level. Okay? We're gonna be the target of propaganda and hatred, man. But we're appointed to these things. We're gonna be betrayed. Betrayal is coming. We coming down the stretch, man. We're appointed to these afflictions. Okay? You see, that's why you go into Matthew 20. We're gonna go into that word cup. All right, and we're gonna get to the point. Matthew 20. All right, in verse Matthew 20 and 22. But Yahushua answered and said, "You know not what you want," because they was inquiring about a position at his left and his right hand. Okay, so Yahushua, like, you don't know what you're asking for, because what, there's an appointed suffering for whoever's going to be at the Lord's right and left hand, which King David is going to be one of them. Okay, you see, there's a particular suffering that comes with, just like there's appointed lots. Okay, there's appointed suffering for everyone, man. Everyone has their appointed suffering, man. Their appointed affliction. It says, "Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" They say unto him, "We are able." And he said unto them, you shall drink indeed of my cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit at my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them whom it is prepared of my Father. Now, when you get this word cup, because they were concerned about rank, but they didn't understand the suffering that comes before that rank. Okay, there's a suffering, okay, that comes before that rank, man. All right, so you go into this word cup.
Strong's G 4221. Paterion.
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 All right. It says metaphorically, one's lot or experience, whether joyous or adverse, divine appointments. So whether joyous or adverse, okay. So from your rank to your adversity, all right, we all have divine appointments. Okay, whether favorable or unfavorable, all right, are likened to a cup of which the Most High presents one to drink. So of prosperity and adversity, man. So the church of Thessalonica, they had their own divine appointment of suffering. And like I say, they was the church to set the tone for the other churches. Okay, because once they converted Thessalonica, the city of Thessalonica went crazy. Uproars immediately, hostile. You see, and we all have, when we first come in, the things that we go through, all right, throughout our journey, particular things, that we go through throughout. It's just for us. It's to build us, it's to refine us and customize us, all right, to the Lord's liking. See, we're being customized unto the Lord's liking in this suffering. Okay, when you go here, these afflictions, and we appointed. I said we appointed to these things. All right, Yahweh he had to go through that affliction. Said it pleased the Most High to bruise him because he was perfecting him. Okay, to be that finished product for his lot. King of kings, Lord of lords, where there was a suffering Yahweh was appointed to. Okay, Hebrews 2 and 10 says, "For it became him for whom are all things, by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory." See, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering. Okay, so Yahweh had to set the standard of suffering, okay, and being perfected for us to follow, man. He chose obedience. He overcame the flesh. He didn't get sidetracked by the flesh. You know, he chose obedience all the way to the cross. And we're walking this same path, man, to where we can't get overcome by the flesh, man, because the flesh, okay, wants to be continually comforted. Okay. The flesh, wants to chill, wants to relax. The flesh is in tune with this world. You see? Well, the spirit is in tune with the world to come and what needs to be done in the spirit. Okay, obedience, edification, laboring. Okay, and even that in that war, that continual war between the spirit and the flesh. Okay, that's an affliction, man. The affliction of the mind, knowing what we know, but still have to exist in this society, man. You know, because see, when we know, we see that's part of the bitterness too. Because as we know more, we understand like how jacked up it is. You see, people in the world, niggas in the world, are not afflicted in the mind like we are. You know, because this is normal. This is how it's supposed to be to them. They're in the matrix. Okay, but when you're awakening, all right, when you're truly awakening in the spirit, okay, and you see everything for what it truly is, and then you understand how it's supposed to be, and you see how far, we fell, and you realize this ain't it. You keep coming to that constant conclusion, this ain't it, man. You know? And it's that constant mental affliction, but guess what? It's refining us, man. You know? So going from there, get this Isaiah 48. Isaiah 48 and 10 says, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. So the Lord is refining us. He's taking us through a process. To be refined as a process, to become that finished product, okay, of value. Well, we have to go through that affliction that's appointed. And everybody has their divine appointments in this thing. And the Lord says it up to where we there's certain things that we have to do to overcome that. Whatever these afflictions are. Because this truth is about constantly overcoming. Constantly overcoming, and getting to the next phase, getting to the next level, overcoming, getting to the next level. It's a process of being refined. The Lord's purging out unwanted qualities, because in order to level up, this affliction also exposes flaws. Okay, we recognize the flaws, make the adjustments, and then we on to something else. Affliction come again. Recognize the flaws, make the adjustments, on to something else. So that constant refining affliction. That's how affliction is perfecting us, because affliction draws out the flaws. Okay, and it's that constant process of doing this over and over again until we're perfected. You see, so we're going to be chosen in the furnace of affliction. Those that's going through their process, those are the ones going to be pulled out of their fire as their finished product, man. Just like a smith would do a sword or silver or gold. Okay, when it gets to the quality that he wants, he pulls it out the fire. He lets it rest. You see, and we're laboring to enter into this rest, man. 1 Timothy 3:4 said, for verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass. And for this cause, when I could no longer bear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you, and our labor is in vain. So that's why he was sending Timothy, okay, to check on him, because he like, man, whole thing, because Satan wants to agitate us, man. Because see, especially when we first came into this thing, a lot of us deal with that demon like, damn, am I doing the right thing? Because we get so much backlash, because it didn't go like we expected. We thought people were gonna be excited to hear this good news, but it was the opposite, man. We went through, you know, this thing. We was looked down upon. We was looked at as crazy, bugged out. Okay, from people we thought was gonna, be accepting. You see, people make a big deal about it, and it's like, damn, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? Is this really the truth? We go through this. So Apostle Paul, he's seeing the hell that was catching, with Thessalonica. So he said, I had to come see about y'all. He said, I couldn't forbear. I had to know y'all state where y'all was at, because, Satan, he's there to agitate. He's there to cast doubt, you know. And it said, for this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, least by any means the tempter, all right, have tempted you, and our labor is in vain. But now when Timotheus came from you unto us, and brought us good tidings of your faith and charity, and that ye have good remembrance of us always, desiring greatly to see us, and we also to see you. So he was, joyous to hear the good news. Good tidings are like, they good. They still on fire. They straight. They standing in the fire. You see, and we want that good report in the heavens, man, that we're standing in the fire and persevering, man. And we have everything we need. We have, a solid, leadership, okay, network of solid brothers. We have, prayer. We have fasting. You see, we have the comfort of His word. Okay, we got the whole armor as we went into the other day. The shield of faith. We have everything we need to persevere in the fight. And the things that we're learning is patience and discipline. Okay, which is looked down upon in this world. Okay, but discipline, okay, is bringing us to a kingdom. You see, so Apostle Paul gets the good news that they good. Verse 7 said, therefore, brethren, we were comforted over you in all our affliction and distress by your faith. Okay, so the Apostle Paul was comforted. Okay, they still had the faith. That's a comfort. So even the hell, the apostles, all right, the Apostle Paul, his companions were catching well. They was comforted just to see that the church of Thessalonica still had the faith, man. So you just see how the body just feeding off each other. Like Apostle Paul was catching hell, and then it's like he hearing about them good, so he like, shit, man, I'm good. That was a comfort. You see, and seeing brothers catch hell and persevere, that's inspiring, man. Seeing brothers just consistently, you see, endure, man, that's inspiring within itself. Seeing brothers increase, man, that's inspiring, man. Okay, seeing brothers, seeing special brothers, personally, you're around, you see brothers' life changes, like, man, you see the maturity, like, all this inspirational, man. The body feeds off itself. It says, for now we live, all right, it said, if ye stand fast in the Lord. Okay, let's see what it says in there too. All right, yep, verse 8, it said, it gives us new life to know that you are standing firm in the Lord. So that was like, they revived the apostle, and his companions, okay, his fellow laborers, they were revived to hear a good report from Timothy. Okay, it says, how we thank the Most High for you, because of you we have great joy as we enter, all right, the Most High's presence. Night and day we pray earnestly for you, asking the Most High to let us see you again, to feel, All right, the gaps in your faith. May the Most High, power and Father and Lord, Yahweh shall bring us to you very soon. So Paul, he really wanted to get back out there, because he was there. He seen it firsthand the hell they was catching. So he really wanted, wanted them to be anchored down in the faith. And it says, and may the Lord make your love for one another and for all people, okay, all the elect, and I said, grow and overflow, just as our love for you overflows. May He, as a result, make your heart strong, which is our mind. It's another thing. This affliction is making our mind strong, because, hey, we're gonna have to be built up to go through these times. We're being built up to go through these times. Just know what we're going through now is building us up for what we're gonna have to go through in these times to come. Okay? So the Lord is making our hearts, our minds strong, our spirits strong, unmovable, cold. Okay? It said, blameless and holy as you stand before the Most High, our Father, when our Lord Yahweh Shai comes again with all his holy people, Amen. Okay? So, that's the point. Lord will, you brothers and sisters edified. Hey, we all got our appointed suffering, but we all got also our appointed, glory, as well at the end of the suffering. So Lord will, you brothers and your sisters edified. Until next time I say shalom.